Welcome to the Village Board meeting for Monday, January 10th, 2025. I almost said 2028. Wow. It's 6:02 p.m. and we're here in the Village Hall boardroom. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adam, can you do the land acknowledgement, please?
Sure. Before we begin this evening, we would like to recognize the Seneca Nation on whose ancestral territory we are gathering. The present-day village of Fairport sits on traditional Seneca land. The Seneca Nation, with the Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Tuscarora, make up the sovereign Haudenosaunee Confederacy. With respect, we acknowledge the people of the Seneca Nation on whose land we now live. We honor their past, present, and future contributions to and stewardship of this land.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the village board if we can rearrange the agenda. Megan, I know that normally citizens forum would occur. Oh, wait, we need you to do roll. Will you do roll call first, please?
Trustee Wojtka? Trustee Banaski?
Good evening.
Trustee Briggs?
Here.
Trustee Mishler? Mayor Domeratz?
Here. Okay, now that we did that, I'm going to ask if the village board would mind rearranging our public hearing, our swearing in of our new police sergeant, Connor Cantwell, with the citizens forum. Is that okay if we rearrange those on the agenda as long as I have agreement?
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
You agree? Okay. So the first thing that we have on our agenda this evening is swearing in of our new police sergeant, Connor Cantwell. We have a lot of guests here in the audience, including Connor's parents, Bob Cantwell and Patrice Cantwell, and it appears that you have a guest with you. Mitchell? We have Mitchell as well, Cantwell, and Chief, would you come on up? And Officer Cantwell, would you come on up? And I'm going to let you take it over from here, and we're going to watch, and then we're going to congratulate you.
Thank you, Megan. Good evening, everyone.
Oh, wait 1 second. I'm sorry, we missed somebody else. Would you like to introduce who else is here supporting you this evening?
My wife, Danielle.
Welcome. Sorry.
Danielle.
I'm sorry I missed that. I saw this group, didn't catch that one, so I apologize for glossing over.
Mayor, I'm going to get to her in a second, all right?
All right.
We're going to find out the bottom line on her.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Thank you very much for allowing us to come in front of you tonight, taking up your time. Thanks to the people who came, weren't for this event, and the people tuning in at home. Thanks for a couple of minutes of your guys' time. We appreciate it. We're obviously here, as you said, Mayor, for the promotion of Officer Cantwell to Sergeant Cantwell, the Fairport Police Department. Before we conduct the oath and the official swearing-in ceremony, just want to say a couple of things as I usually do. These are all positive, light things. We come in front of you guys. It's great being in the positive spotlight, especially wearing a badge and being a member of a police agency here in Rochester the last several years. So we greatly appreciate that. We had a few different members this year. When you want to become a police sergeant or get promoted in the police ranks, you generally take an examination. That examination is not easy. The preparation, dedication, and the time that someone puts into that to try to take the exam, to study for the exam, prepare for the exam, and pass the exam, I don't take it lightly. I've done it myself. It's not easy. There's several members of Fairport Police here tonight that did that, and I want to thank them, those guys, for putting forth the dedication, trying to better themselves, obviously becoming more well-versed in their skill set in that process. So thank you guys for doing that. A lot of departments, they'll give an examination. They'll promote off an examination. We also do. But we also do what we call a sergeant's evaluation and assessment. So it's above and beyond. Some people are good test takers. Some people aren't. It's great. You start out the baseline with a good test. I want to know, when I get that call at 3:30 in the morning, what sergeant's on duty is that scene management done correctly. I want to know what skill set he or she possesses so I have confidence in sending them out to serve the public. So we do that assessment and selection. It was conducted by other members of the Fairport Police, the leadership team, the sergeants, and myself. It was conducted over several hours at different locations, and we tested them in multiple disciplines, anything from active shooter response to leadership skills to critical incident management, scene management. After doing so, they all scored pretty well. They were really, really even, which gave me great confidence in what we put out on the street every day at the Fairport Police Department uniform. In the end, Connor Cantwell was chosen as our candidate for promotion to sergeant within the Fairport Police Department. Connor's story begins long before he became a Fairport Police Department member. We've known Connor for several years. He's a hometown boy. And everyone says, oh, what does that matter? It matters a lot. It matters that he takes great pride in this community. He knows a lot of people. He has that moral compass. He knows what the community needs, and he's willing to put that dedication forward to serve this public, the community of Fairport. Connor not only is a Fairport police officer, prior to becoming a Fairport police officer, he was an EMT with the Rural Metro Ambulance Service. Before that, he was our own Fairport Fire Department member since he's been 18 years of age. So he's a member, several department members are in the back row supporting him tonight. I appreciate the fire side coming out of it. I had a line in here, but since so many fire department members in here, I really can't say it in public. All right? And my line was, he was a Fairport Fire Department member, he was an EMT, and then he decided to join the A-team and become a Fairport policeman.
Okay, we don't want
But
to
I
have
won't
any
say that
battles
tonight since so
here.
many Fairport fire departments are in here.
We appreciate our fire department and our police department here.
Thank you, Mayor. That is very politically correct. Connor also was my first hire. When I became chief 3 years ago, Connor Cantwell was a member of the Greece Police Department. He went through the academy, became a member of the Greece Police Department. He was a member of the Greece Police Department for 7 years. And then when we had some leadership changes here, Connor said he wanted to come home. So him and I had numerous conversations. We ended up interviewing him and hiring him. Here in Monroe County, most police chiefs do not take from other departments. It's kind of an unspoken rule. So when Connor said he wanted to come home to Fairport, we took it as a huge compliment to us and where we were going, what we stood for. So I called the chief then of the Greece Police Department, and I said, hey, chief, I just want to have this uncomfortable conversation with you. I said, one of your guys put in a resume to us. We were very pleased with it, but I also understand where that chief is coming from. You don't steal from the departments. You got a good guy. What that chief said to me made perfect sense of why we were trying to get people like Connor Cantwell. And that chief, who was not easily impressed, if you don't know the chief of the Greece Police Department, he has high standards. That chief said, you're taking literally one of my top 3 guys. So there's a huge compliment coming from the Greece Police Department to the Fairport Police Department. We knew Connor, we knew what we were getting, and that's why we tried to recruit him. So thank you for becoming a member of our department. Prior to becoming a Fairport Police Department member, Connor became a SWAT sniper on their SWAT team. It takes an immense amount of discipline to become that and achieve that. He's also a firearms instructor, a general topics instructor, and a defensive tactics instructor. Those certifications are hard to achieve. He's achieved all of them and holds them currently. Connor understands that leadership is a very, very important aspect of this department. I have the utmost faith in his skill set. Again, I mentioned Connor's a hometown boy, born and raised in Fairport, and I cannot be more pleased to swear him in this evening. Before we get to the pinning ceremony and the swearing-in ceremony, I just want to mention his wife, as you mentioned, Mayor, early on. His wife, Danielle, is sitting in the crowd behind him. She is actually going to do the pinning of the badge. And just a quick history of the pinning of the badge. Pounding rank, the pinning of the badge comes from the military, right? We work in a quasi-military setting in police. Most military promotion ceremonies, the reason they call them pinning is because when you pin rank, you generally do it on the collar or on the chest. In the military and in some police departments, this police department would never partake in something like this, but they would do it with the backs off the pinning. Everyone who outranked that person would line up in a line, and they'd come and they would pound rank on that individual, obviously sending the pin into his or her flesh. But we would never participate in anything like that. So his wife's going to do it nicely tonight, and she's going to pin this badge on his chest. But before we get to that, I just want to mention Danielle. So Danielle, his wife, this is the type of people that Connor is involved with. The reason this promotion ceremony came to February, was supposed to happen in January, is Danielle was out of the country. She was in Peru, is that right? And prior to that, Guatemala, and doing cleft pellet repair. She's an RN, she's a registered nurse, and this is what she does on her time to better the world. So that's very, very thoughtful and very, very kind of you to do stuff like that. So I'll call her up. Danielle, if you'll come forward, please. just like we spoke of. Sergeant Weber, can you come around and get some pictures, please?
We practice that.
So we're going to do a quick oath of office, and then we'll seal this deal. If you could you raise your right hand? I state your name.
I, Connor Cantwell,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution
that I will uphold the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New York,
of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of police sergeant
the duties of police sergeant
for the Village of Fairport
for the Village of Fairport
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, brother. And as usual, just a couple more minutes. Connor really wanted to say something, so he's going to step up here and just give a quick speech.
So I look around the room and I see obviously guys from the fire department, my family's out here, other people who I've become acquaintances with through my time here in Fairport, and I just want to say thank you. Through my career, when I first started, if Connor today were to talk to that person in the academy who wasn't hired yet, I don't think I would have expected to be where I am today. Our trajectory always changes, so I'm very happy with the choices I've made, and I'm very lucky to work where I do and have the opportunities I have. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife for always supporting me and pushing me to do better, and finding a place to work that suits me, and Fairport certainly does that. And for dealing with me in the future when I don't have enough sleep and I continue to get more and more pale working overnights. But thank you. I want to thank the guys from the fire department for coming out. Obviously, you guys are taking time from your night off, and you're out here supporting me, so I really appreciate that. All my friends sitting in the back, thank you guys. And last but not least, I want to thank my mom, my dad for supporting me. I don't know if I would be here without them. Like I said, in the academy, I was kind of on my own, and they were able to support me getting the training I needed. So, and then obviously my brother Mitch is here tonight, and all of them, my parents, Mitch, his beautiful family that he has now, they all support me and are always very interested in what I'm doing with work. So it's very much appreciated. So, and I want to thank you guys for allowing us a few minutes to take some of your time. So, thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. If there's anybody who would like to get up and follow Connor out the doorway, you're more than welcome to go. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you. Yep, well, they'll probably go take more pictures out in the hallway. They'll send us one. So, Officer Weber, Sergeant Weber, please make sure that you forward some of those pictures to myself, Brian. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good night. Okay. I think we're back to our regularly scheduled program here. All right, so that is going to take us to the Citizens Forum. If there was anybody who wanted to speak tonight at Citizens Forum, you should have signed in over on the sign-in sheet. Megan, do we have anybody on the list?
Cheryl Willamaitis? Oh, okay.
Okay, no, you don't have to sign in. Welcome. We're glad you're here. And if you didn't have anything that you wanted to share this evening, that's okay too. Was there anybody else, Megan? Was it just Cheryl? Okay, all right, no problem. Well, then I will open Citizens Forum at 6:16 p.m. and Seeing that there is no one to speak, I will close it at 6:17 p.m., at which point we'll move past the swearing in of the new police sergeant and move on to the very first item on here, which is a public hearing for local law number 1 of 2025 to override the tax levy limit established by General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. And at 6:18 p.m., I will open that public hearing. If there was anyone who wanted to come and speak about local law number 1, now is your opportunity. Okay. We'll give it a full minute. And seeing that there is no one who wishes to speak on behalf of local law number 1, we will close the public hearing at 6:19 p.m., which will move us to unfinished business. I'm going to say it right now. We're going to have to table item number 1 of unfinished business and number 3. So the only item that we will address tonight is item number 2 from unfinished business. Are we able to table them?
No.
I thought item number, oh, wait, never mind. We will not be able to address any one of the items that are under unfinished business. Those will all need to be tabled to our next meeting. The reason being that we do not have a quorum that were in attendance at those meetings. Adam was missing from the January 13th meetings and those meeting notes, and then I was missing from the January 22nd meeting. So without a 3-vote quorum to approve those, they will have to wait till our next meeting. So we're just going to keep moving right along. I'm going to put this right here so I don't knock it over. So that will take us to new business, and I'd like a motion by the village board to adopt local law number 1 of 2025 to override the tax levy limit for the fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2025 for the village of Fairport. This local law is deemed to be a type 2 action under 617.5C26 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Therefore, no further action is required. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved?
By trustee Briggs,
Second?
by trustee Banatsky. Any discussion, questions regarding this local law? I think we've discussed it to death in the last month or so.
I think just as a reminder, this is something that every community does around the state. It's, something to do in case you arrive at the end of the year and you realize you have to make a change.
Yeah,
Rather
well,
than-
I was in attendance at NICOM last week, and in one of the groups that I was in, the question went out, who overrides at the very beginning of the year, passes a local law to override the tax cap? And almost everybody in the room did so. And it's, the discussion that ensued was about it's a precautionary measure to, one, support your village if anything happened and there was a miscalculation in the tax cap and you accidentally overrode it without passing a local law. There would be fines that your community would have to pay to the state for doing so. So it's a precautionary measure, or it's also you never know what's going to happen, whether it's COVID-19 or healthcare, very large rises in healthcare costs, that you're protecting your community from adverse effects and also doing the right thing so that you can carry on with day-to-day business. Hopefully that makes it clear to everybody, and thank you for bringing that up, Adam. Without any other, you good? Okay, without any other discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That is 0, so that will pass with the unanimous vote of the quorum tonight. Taking us to item number 2 is a motion by the village board to enter into an intermunicipal agreement for Monroe County with for reimbursement of Stop DWI reimbursement funds for the calendar year 2025 for the amount of $1,666, and to authorize Julie M. Domeretz as mayor to execute the agreement.
So moved.
By trustee Benosky. Second. By trustee Briggs. Any questions? Megan, this is an annual thing that we do?
Yeah, a couple of these on here are.
Okay. And this goes to the police department for reimbursement of Stop DWI actions that they take throughout the year. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous as well. Taking us to item number 3 is a motion by the village board to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for reimbursement of high visibility engagement campaign funds for calendar year 2025 in the amount of $2,000, and to accept any additional funds which may become available from the New York State Stop DWI Foundation.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs.
Second.
You guys are going to get tired of this.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like
Trustee
we've got a little
Banowski.
tennis going on here.
Just pick who's going to go first. And again, this is another agreement that we enter into on an annual basis. It's for funds for the police department to work on Stop DWI campaigns. Any questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Taking us to item number 4, a motion by the village board to accept the January 2025 financial statements for the Village of Fairport and the December 2024 financial statements for the Fairport Municipal Commission.
So moved.
By trustee Benosky,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. Any questions for Megan? Megan, anything interesting that you want to highlight? This is for January, right?
This is for January. Yeah, it's kind of quiet on the general fund side and capital projects. Some of the trucks came in January, which the audit committee saw when they audited the bills last month. The American Rescue Truck and snowplow equipment.
Is your mic on?
Just some of those trucks that we had on order finally came in and we paid the bills in January. The American Rescue Truck and snowplow equipment for a new truck and refuse equipment for a new truck.
Okay. All right. We can move on to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Item number 5 is a motion by the village board to authorize the payment of audited bills. Adam, you can go first.
Well, I have reviewed the bills and found all things to be in order.
So you
Oh,
can-
so I move. Yes.
Okay. You don't have to say that, Tracy. You can just second it.
I was going to say, I'll just second.
Any questions about the bills? Okay.
I will say that we had 2.3 tons
I have it down here. How
There we go.
much?
2.3 tons were diverted for composting.
Great. I forgot what I wrote how much for.
Oh.
on there. But it was to ask you how much
There
was
we go.
diverted from the landfill. 2.3 tons.
2.3 tons.
Excellent. And with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Item number 6 is a motion by the village board to amend the previously approved amount of $60,000 to pay health and dental insurance premiums paid in the month of February to $55,510.46.
So,
So-
move. Oh,
I won't move it. I'll second.
Okay, trustee Benosky, and seconded by trustee Briggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That carries unanimously. Item number 7 is a motion by the village board to authorize the clerk treasurer to pay health and dental insurance premiums for the month of March in an initial estimated amount not to exceed $60,000. subject to audit and amending authorization by the village board at the regularly scheduled March meeting.
So moved?
By trustee Briggs,
Second.
by trustee Banowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That carries unanimously. Okay, that takes us to announcements and committee reports. I think this is a world record evening. I have a bunch of things to share from the last couple of weeks, and then I'll move along to let both of you share anything that you've been involved with. So on January 27th, there was a meeting of OSED, the Office of Community and Economic Development. The Local Development Corporation is working on helping create the fiber trail, which is in the Village of Fairport. We have Liftbridge Yarns, which is a big member of that trail. So they're working to support the fiber trail application. We also, at that meeting, underneath urban renewal, I had a discussion with Jen Sturgis, who operates Section 8. That meeting happened to be the day that the executive order came out where the Treasury Department was holding all of the funds. And I left the meeting that night since I'm the signatory for the federal project through them. I said I would follow up and make sure that the appropriate federal officials and also the State Attorney General's office know that we have great concerns about that. The funding for that has since gone through, at least for this month, and I was looking today at a statement that came out on February 4th from Harder Seacrest Murtha, which outlined the different items that were in that executive order, and individual programs like Medicare, Social Security, and Section 8, even if the stay, which the temporary restraining order is in place still, I believe, right now, but even if that was released, those programs would still get funding. However, the big question mark is if we will get the grant for the streetscape, because any grant programs under the current executive order could be, even though Congress has approved the funding and the funding should be set aside for us, there is the possibility that that could not make it here based on that executive order and the way the current federal government is behaving. However, we are going to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And our bid documents are still out. So look, getting back to the OSED meeting, I also talked to Jana, the new executive director, and she and Brian White, village manager White, and I are working together with regard to streetscape and the Bridge reconstruction project. Back in 2019, when the Lift Bridge was undergoing the bridge reconstruction project, when Martha Malone was here, she and I worked together on a program to help merchants, residents, and visitors to the community cope with the changes in how to get around in Fairport and make sure that Fairport was still a destination. So OSED has some money put aside for this program. I talked with Jana about it, and Brian, Jana, and I will all be attending a meeting. I think it's next Wednesday. I think it's the 18th, maybe. It's on my calendar. I thought I wrote it down here, but I guess I did not. So the three of us will all be attending the meeting, talking about the status of the projects, which right now there isn't any changes in either one of those projects because we just don't have any information. But we will be working together as a team for mitigating the impacts to our community through communication, whether it's a newsletter that happens on a weekly basis or a semi-weekly basis. There's a communication for the merchants to understand where the project is in the village. We'll also be working together with, there's someone who's on the state, or on our project team for streetscape, that's their sole job is to work on communication. that they have been hired to do that piece, not from a marketing communication standpoint, but to communicate to the community where the project is at any point in time. So we'll be working on that. The next meeting of OSED is Monday, February 24th at 4:30 p.m. in this room. That's it for OSED for right now. That's plenty. So the next item I have is Fairport Municipal Commission. So that was meeting this morning, and I also attended January's meeting. The first item I have on my list is chargers. So the program, let me give a little background. The charger program in the Village of Fairport was free until this January, at which point all of the grants that paid for the equipment, the networking, the electricity, they have all gone away. All the equipment is end of life, so that means there's no replacement parts for it. It's very difficult to maintain the equipment. And in fact, we had 28 charging stations at the end of last year. We are now down to 26 because 2 of those charging stations are, here's a good word, kaput. They're no good, they don't work, and we will not be replacing 2 of those 26 stations. I don't know exactly which 2 it is. So we are down to 26. A lot of people have been, from the community and outside the village, have been very concerned about the fact that we're charging now, and it was completely free before. And the fact of the matter is that the charging program was free because it was completely supported by grants. The program, as it moves forward, cannot be supported by ratepayers. So if you get Fairport Electric service delivery at your house, we cannot charge ratepayers to support a charging station program. So the cost of the program when you go to charge will show up on the app on your phone. It's a lot more than if you charge at your house, but the reason it's a lot more is because you're not paying really for the electric. You're paying for the networking, the replacement charging stations, and the maintenance, the hardware, and I got all of them. The networking, the electric, the charging station, hardware, and the cost of maintenance. So the price of when you charge is not to make a profit. It's completely to be put back into the program to pay for new chargers and the maintenance of those chargers. Currently, the price, I think, is 43 cents per kilowatt hour. And I know that it's lower in other municipalities. They are not running our program. They are doing whatever they are doing. This is built to pay back and purchase new chargers. So if there is more usage than estimated, it means that in the future you could see that price go down, because ultimately the price that you're paying at the pump is to support the program. It's not to make a profit. The price may go up or down depending on the usage and the revenue stream. Again, the expectation is this program was put together that many people would rather charge at home than use these chargers at a more expensive cost, but we have to charge it so that we can fund the program. I think that's it for chargers. Do you guys have any questions about what I just shared? Because I know there's a lot of questions in the community about this.
Yeah, so the grant was through New York State, right? That was,
Correct. The Power Authority, the grants were either through NYPA or through NYSERDA.
gotcha, okay. And it's,
Because we have so many electric vehicles in the 14450 zip code. They were trying to grow the marketplace.
right, okay. And is it one of those where like you couldn't charge while the grant was in place, or do we know?
No, there was no need to charge.
Okay.
Everything was paid for. So the whole intention was to make it easy for people to start to get these vehicles and grow the usage in the community of electric vehicles.
Gotcha.
And because we had so many vehicles in the zip code, this was a good place for them to invest that money to help support the growth of the vehicles. Just like there may not be any more, but there are federal grants that are to help with the purchase of electric vehicles. But as of January 20th, there may not be any of those anymore either. So it's not meant to raise money for Fairport Electric. It's only to raise money for the program. And if you are charging your vehicle and you get a message on your phone that says you have 30 minutes grace between when your vehicle finished charging, please go move your vehicle because you will start getting charged. I think it's $2. It comes out to $12 an hour for that parking spot. So you'll get a message with the app that's used on your phone to input that, as well as when you go to charge, your phone, which is used to set it all up, will give you all this information that I'm covering in terms of this is how much it's going to cost for you to charge your vehicle. Last thing for New York, or for FMC, there is an impending NYPA, that's New York State Power Authority rate hike. It was submitted to the state on December 24th. Public comment period opened then, and this is likely to cause a very large increase in what ratepayers see. We are doing some advocacy for ourselves, but if you as an individual have a concern about this, there's a good possibility that we'll see a 3 to 4 times hike in the cost of electric in the Fairport Electric community. If you are interested in letting someone know how your concerns about this program, don't send it to me. Go to the New York State Governor's webpage. There's a comment form there. You can title it NYPA, NYPA rate hike -concern, and let them know that you have concerns about this rate case. The public comment period is open until February 23rd. And those will go to the governor's office. There is a staff that is there of 20 people, that is their full-time job to take input to the governor's office, and they read through it all. So I will be sharing that more in the community, but don't send it to me because I can't do anything about it. Don't send it to the village board, and don't even send it to the Fairport Municipal Commission, Matt Haggerty, or Brian White, because it's not ours to say, don't let this happen. Contact the governor's office through the form on the website. Make sure you title it NYPA, NYPA rate hike. And you can share those concerns with the governor's office. They are taking it very seriously.
Yeah, because I think that's all set by the state. That's not set, they dictate what rates can be and what rates
While
can raise.
we have to go through the Public Service Commission to do our rate hikes, or RG&E would have to go through the Public Service Commission, NYPA does not.
Right.
So please feel free to share your concerns with the governor's office. Yeah, I can publish it. It's really just go to the governor's. I'm going to send a note out to you all after this with all these notes. So please don't feel like you have to take notes on everything I'm saying. But we will share those links. It's really just the New York State Governor's page, and there's a contact form on that page, and please feel free to share it there. Okay, I'm almost there. I only got 2 or 3 more things. Tree Board met February 5th, Wednesday, February 5th. It was last Wednesday. The board chose Bill Mayer as their chair. Duties of the chair were clarified during the meeting. The chair is responsible for running the meeting. The staff person, in this case, it's our superintendent of DPW, Jason Kaluza, will receive input from the tree board staff 10 days prior to the meeting, and any input for the agenda from board members or the chair. Jason will produce and provide the agenda for the meeting, and from that meeting, the There will be an Arbor Day celebration this year in April. Tentatively, it will be the planting of a tree in conjunction with the Joanna Perrin Garden Club. The next tree board, I don't have a specific date for that. They're still working out those details, but we'll make sure we share that with the community as that gets closer. It'll probably be in an after-school type during the club period of the day, so that they can all participate, which is kind of fun. The next tree board meeting will be April 9th, and it will be starting at a new time at 6 p.m. It's held here in the boardroom. Okay, I'm getting there. New York state of emergency for salt. That is not sales tax, that is actual rock salt. So New York State has an emergency statement out about the use of rock salt because supplies are low. We have had a more normal and more typical winter this year. The New York State supplies are low. Our supplies are low. We share our supplies. We order them in conjunction with the town of Perrington. It's an intermunicipal agreement. Our supplies are getting low, so please drive carefully. You can expect that we will do salting when it's advised, but it will be more concentrated on hills and in intersections. It won't be an all-over salting of the village, because we will also comply with the state of emergency in the state of New York. Okay, that's one page, yay. Zoning code, the draft version of the code will be ready. I do not have any exact dates in the April to May timeframe. Once the code is presented to the village board, there will be an opportunity for the public to comment, and we will have a public forum that's completely TBD because we don't have a delivery date for the draft code yet. We don't have any specifics about that forum because one thing relies on the next thing to happen for the next thing to be scheduled. So that's the update on the zoning code. And then the last thing I'll share is about federal government funding cuts. While we are a local municipality, I just want to share with members of this community the impacts that can be felt by federal grants that are cut. I've already shared that, there's this possible loss of we'll cross our fingers and we're going to hope for the best, that we will not lose our streetscape funding grant, which gets paid after the fact. It doesn't get paid ahead of time. But Medicaid is not in this executive order as being an individual payment account. And I just want to share with people because I think when we hear about Medicaid, we always think it's about somebody else. But Medicaid is one of the largest funding sources for hospitals, for nursing homes, for skilled nursing care. And I know that there's a significant portion of our community which is over the age of 60 or 65. And we should all be concerned because we can see here at a local level if there is any changes to Medicaid and cuts to it that can mean rural hospitals closing, that you might see local nursing homes having difficulties staying open. So it's important for us to consider how it impacts people. Another item that I'll talk about is SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Aid Program. I think that's what the AP is. And while SNAP is not listed in any of those things that I discussed for you, the largest recipients of SNAP funding in our community are senior citizens. So those are our neighbors. And I would hate to see any of them fall into food insecurity. How can we help? Please make sure that you donate to the Perrington Food Cupboard. Any chance that you have an opportunity. We just did chili cook-off on Friday before the big football game, and lots of members of the staff and elected officials brought in food that was taken to the to the Perrington Food, is it Food Cupboard or Food Shelf? Food Shelf, sorry. In Victor, it's a food cupboard. as well as there are different merchants through the village who are collecting. I happen to know 2 yoga studios that are collecting food. There's a collection site at the library. There's a collection site in the town of Perrington. They can always use assistance. If you go online to the Perrington Food Shelf site, it will show you a list. There's a PDF up there of most needed items. Please remember that we are a community and we do everything we can to support each other. And with that, yeah, it's a great thing. And you know what? We can do things to help each other, even though that's way out of our control. Yep. So Mrs. Frank is just saying her Bunko group does, her neighborhood group does. When I talked to the leader over there, she said, our biggest times are Thanksgiving and Christmas. We have lots of food, but you know, people need food all year long and they're gonna need it now more than ever. So let's all support each other as best we can. With that, I am done talking. Trustee Briggs, did you have anything that you'd like to share for committee reports?
I'll keep it really light.
I know I have lots of heavy stuff to share, but it's important.
Save the date, that Saturday, March 29th at 2 o'clock at the library. There will be an annual 6x6. And that'll be an art creation. It's an open stop-in for anyone who wishes to create art. And that is a fundraiser for a local contemporary art museum gallery. And I think the Public Arts Committee is meeting this week, and I think there's plans to put other dates on the calendar. But at least we have one, and that is in March. The mayor, Emily, and I, we attended the merchant celebration in January, and it's great to get together with, you know, the merchants in a casual, fun way, you know, where we all just celebrated the accomplishments of the year. I attended the partnership meeting. They report that it was very successful, their annual retreat. There was great attendance and lots of feedback. But the people who were manning the different committees really didn't have a chance to talk to each other yet. They manned just their areas. So that's a goal for next time, is to share out with everybody. And their focus would be print material, getting it out into the community to really explain and clarify the role of the partnership and the foundation and how it's different from what the merchants do or the Chamber of Commerce. So that's a goal, to really just get a clear message out there. And this last week, at my personal home, we had our electric meter swapped out. So I wasn't there, but my husband was, and met at the door, and he works from home with a couple computers and all of that. And he said, oh my gosh. He's like, my computer flashed for like a second. He's like, these guys are really good. So that's a big compliment coming from him. He was quite impressed at how smoothly the whole transition went, even from working from home. It was barely a glitch in his power. So he gives it 2 thumbs up. So I just hope it's you know, the rest of the residents. It's his, yeah, another thumbs up from Park Circle.
Got a thumbs up from East Avenue. Has yours been changed yet?
I mean, I don't know, possibly. We had to do some work this past summer, so it may have even been changed then.
Well, I will say thank you, Fairport Electric. I'll
Yeah,
join
it
in
was
with you.
flawless. So
That's great.
nice done. Yeah.
Anything else?
No,
Okay, great.
not right now.
Anything that you'd like to share?
No, I just wanted to kind of build off what you were saying too, is especially as things are cold and maybe folks are looking at either heat or food insecurity. We all are a community here, so you have your neighbors. Make sure you keep an eye out for them, and you know, I know we already kind of do that here in the village, but it's just, you know, an important at this point in time to make sure that you know, especially if they're unaware of some of the programs that are out there too, that they know.
Thank you. Okay. Now that I took a very short meeting and added 20 minutes to it with all these announcements.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, it's important to share these so that
from
everyone,
NICOM, yeah.
like, understand some of what's going on. With that upcoming village board meetings, there's a village board work session scheduled for Monday, February 24th, 2025, 6 p.m. here in the village boardroom. And then our next regular village board meeting will be Monday, March 10th at 6 p.m., again, here in the village boardroom at 31 South Main Street, Fairport, New York. And with that, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn
So moved.
by trustee Panofsky,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us, whether you joined us online or in person, sorry. And thank you for being here for your very first village board meeting. Thank you. I've been to a GRIP meeting before, and thank you for being here. Great. Thank you for being here. And thank you, two of our regulars. Thank you for being here. Have a great evening.